All right, here we go. How I create my happy art journals. I've got a pocket one here and an extra, well, the big ones that they came out with. And then I also have my favorite, my pride and joy. This is the classic size, I guess. I don't know, the regular size. Anyway, I am in love with it and I just can't stop creating in it. Now, as you can see on mine, I added a nice pretty cover, and I also got some bigger rings because I just kept adding pages. So you will need a Happy Notes or your own rings and covers. Paper, of course. I love the Strathmore mixed media papers. I like the toned papers. And I also have the white paper. And I also have my favorite, which is the Strathmore mixed media tone tan. I love this paper. I have several pads of it. It is magical and beautiful and everything I could ever want in a paper in my journal. You will also need the punch. I have the big punch for the Happy Planner. It's cheaper than anything else you're going to find, and you can use a coupon. So you can see mine does 8.5 by 11, which is the big size. So you can do like letters and papers and such. But it'll do all the sizes, including regular size and small. So to create your journal, first thing you're going to do is get this packaging off, and I never can figure out how to get it off of the actual book. It's frustrating as heck. And then I remember, oh yeah, you gotta take it off the rings. You gotta take off the rings. Then I usually figure it out. So just get everything off of there. You mainly want this book for the covers and the rings. And this is just kind of like a base. As you saw with mine, I've added bigger rings, I've changed the cover, I've added papers, so it just kind of is a place to start. So take that out. Now inside here you have tabs, and then you also have notebook paper. Now I do keep the notebook paper sometimes in mine to like write notes and stuff or do like actual journaling. But just keep in mind how small the rings are and how thick the mixed media paper is. And so you can see mine are bigger because once you start adding pages, you end up needing thicker paper or thicker rings. So instead of watching me take out all the paper, I'm going to cut it right here. And there you go. Magically, all the paper has been removed. You can keep it or get rid of it. I have so much of it that I don't really keep it that much anymore because I just have piles of it that I can always add to my books. So I did keep the tabs, and you can put different colors, paper behind different tabs or sections or whatever you want to do. It's definitely up to you. Just keep in mind the tabs do stick out. So if you're using the paper to measure, you actually have like a 1/4 inch extra that you can go out and make your pages if you're not going to be using the tabs. So first we need to cut down our paper. And I'm not a huge measuring person per se. I like to just trace things and kind of go by ear. So what I usually do is I take the paper and I lay it down. So I lay mine down like this, which actually makes my pages shorter than the pages in the Happy Planner. But I get this like extra strip here that I actually like to add to my journals. As you can see here, they're just like extra smaller pages that I add in as kind of like tip-ins, and I really like them in here. I like having the different sizes, and I feel like I just use more of my paper, considering if you don't buy it on sale, it can be kind of expensive. So that's how I cut mine, but you can certainly cut yours so it is the actual height of the entire piece of paper, but you're just going to have that part that's extra, and you can make those little strips if you want. But I like to cut mine this way, so I just line it up with the edge, put it down, use a pencil, and just literally trace down the side of the page. And like I said before, remember, you can always extend it by 1/4 inch if you want, if you're not going to be using the tabs or you don't mind some of the pages sticking out from the tabs. So that's kind of just how I measure it. So just keep that in mind, and just kind of, this is your journal, so make any choice you want. And then you want to cut it down. Sometimes I use an X-Acto knife, but using a paper cutter or like a paper that's what I call it, makes it a lot easier. So as you can see, I moved mine over, so it's at 7 1/4 inches, and there you go. So cut down all my papers. Here we go. I've got some of the little ones here in different colors. I've got some white mixed media, some drawing paper. Strathmore drawing paper is really great. You can take a lot of media and a lot of layers, and it's more inexpensive and a little thinner. And now we're gonna punch the paper. Now it has marks on it for the different sizes of papers that go in there, but you have to remember that our paper is shorter than the actual paper that goes into the Happy Planner. So what you want to do is center it in between the lines for it, instead of like putting it flush to one line. So just kind of eyeball that, I do, and just center it between those two marks, and push it in and make your punch. So it's kind of self-explanatory from this point. You're gonna just put your pages in. You can put it all of the same color next to each other. You can mix it up. You can, do all of that, whatever you want. Now, one of the things that I did before I put my pages into my journal is I kind of put out a huge piece of paper on the floor, like bigger than this entire desk. And I laid them out like this, just all of them next to each other like that, just huge page on the paper floor. I couldn't really do that with the desk. And I took a giant paintbrush and I just went all over the pages with just different colors of paint. And then I flipped them over and did the other side. And you can kind of see the remnants of that on some of the pages in my journal here. You can see the blue there. You can see the white and the magenta and the black on that page, and some of them there as well. And it just made it so I wasn't sitting down to a blank white piece of paper. You can see there and there. And it just made it easier to get started. Honestly, it just made it so that there was something there, something to kind of guide me when I sat down to work in my art journal. So these pages, you can't really see it at all. That page didn't have it, but yeah, I don't think these pages had it either. It just depends on when I started working on them. But, and of course I've added papers to this. I've added tone blue, I've added all kinds of stuff. And this was like the only strip of white paper I had in my journal, so I had to add more pages. And, so I always keep a bunch of papers cut down and punched so I can add them in when I need them. But it's getting kind of thick, but I don't feel like this journal story is over yet. And you can also get these little things that you can stick on pages to just kind of tip them in. You can do all kinds of stuff. You can even add more. Here are some folders that I bought, like, when all the school stuff was on clearance, and some tabs. And I can punch these. I can cut these tabs down. Well, I would cut them this way, and punch these and add these to my journal. Add them as tabs into my book. I can take these folders and kind of, fold them back out this way and punch them and add them to one of my journals to add a new folder to my journal. So, once you kind of get into the journal and start working in the journal and kind of get used to using the punch, there's really so much that you can do. There's just so many possibilities. And when you're going out and you're shopping and you're at either the art store or just anywhere, you just kind of get these ideas of what you can do to your journal and what you can add and what it can be. It's just so much fun, and I like having all these different sizes. Like this one is more of like a pocket one, so if I'm going out somewhere, and it was supposed to be like a planner one, like honestly to take with me everywhere, but I take the big heavy one now everywhere. I don't care. It's got some note paper and stuff in it, but like if I'm going somewhere where I need like a smaller one, that one I can just throw in my bag. But yeah, I carry this big heavy one everywhere with me. I can't help it. I love it so much. And then, you know, I have the bigger one if I want to do sketches and stuff that, you know, I need more space. So I can just do these bigger sketches. Oh, I totally forgot about this page. I remember making that and I just love it. Testing some products on that one. But I can pull it out. Oh, I made that one at my cousin's place. I totally forgot about that one. But I can pull this out to do like larger sketches if I need bigger pieces of paper. You know, oh, there's the one where you can even see the stencil. I pulled it out of a magazine. I don't know what I was going to do with that, but that's kind of something else you want to play with. But I mean, there's just so much you can do. So just kind of have fun with it. And that's kind of how I make my happy planners into happy art journals. So let me know if you have any questions in the comments down below. And hopefully I'll see you guys all later with another video. Thanks for watching.